Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to continue our discussion on financial statements. So far, what we have done was to look at financial statements and learn how to create our statement of cash flows. And we also learned some metrics that are very important in finance, like net operating working capital, total capital, operating capital, investment in TOC, NOPAT, free cash flow, ROIC, EVA, MVA, etc. So those metrics we learned in the past two meetings. Today we're going to continue our discussion on financial statements analysis. But first we're going to learn how to set up a vertical analysis and horizontal analysis. And let me just change the font of this. Okay. So what's vertical analysis and what's horizontal analysis? Okay, so let me ask you this question. What I want us to do is to have one formula here, just one formula, and I will request you to write in the chat box what your formula is, so that we are able to do a vertical analysis. A vertical analysis, aka also known as a common size statement, it shows your accounts in terms of one common account. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Everything is expressed in terms of one particular account. So for the income statement, the common size statement is such that all the accounts in the income statement are proportioned with sales. So lahat dapat divided by sales, so that we can see the ratio of that amount with respect to sales. So we know that sales is the most important element in your income statement, because it gives us the total operating performance of the firm in terms of revenues. So I'd like you now to write a formula here, and please put it in the chat box what your formula is, so that I can copy the formula down or to the left and down. So which means that there should only be one formula for all the cells here in order to create the common size statement. Okay, so once again, the common size statement reflects all the accounts in your income statement in terms of sales. Okay, so I'll give you a few seconds, please. Write the formula here, then the formula should be such that when you copy it to the right or down, it should give us the correct answer. I want the formula, Alexa, the formula itself. The formula. In other words, do the formula here and then copy the formula to all the cells. I want an Excel formula. I'm waiting for your response, guys. One formula for, and then you'll be able to create the common size statement for 2021, for 2020, and 2019. Waiting for an answer from the class. Your answers, I mean. So everyone, please try to key in your answers. One formula in G4, and then this formula will be copied to all the cells up to I13. Formula, when I say formula, class, yung formula nyo sa cell nyo. Sa cell, put the formula here in G4. What formula are you going to put in G4? Okay, Vic, we have an answer here. C4 over C8. Okay, let's see. Can you explain, Vic, what that formula is?
Basically po, if you are to find the common size statement po for
Okay.
2021 in sales, so we are to divide the sales of 2021 by its total operating costs in 2021 as well. So bale,
Okay.
C4 divided by C8.
Okay.
$8 po. Because we want to
Okay.
keep total operating costs as constant so that we could use it to, if we drag it down, it could be used as well for other.
Okay. All right. Okay, very good. The idea is clear. May konting modification na lang tayo dito, no? When you construct, thank you, Vic. You have the right idea. Just one tweak. Ito-tweak lang natin ng isa, no? When you do common size statement for the income statement, the basis is sales, no? So everything has to be divided by sales. So dito, tama naman yung una dito, C4 divided by, and we will have to make this divided by sales itself. Okay? So that's C4 divided by C4. And tama si Vic, sabi niya, we have to fix the row, row 4, $4 will fix the row, so that when we copy this to the right and down, okay, your row will not change. So dito pa rin siya lagi sa sales. Pero yung column natin pwede magbago. Our column position could change. When we copy it here to column H, it will move to column D. Okay? So could you please see that? Okay, thank you, Alexa. Sorry, na-discuss ko na, no? And please share your answer to everyone. Okay, so kindly check, class. If you notice, 100% tong sales natin. Okay, which we expected kasi ang 100%, ibig sabihin yan, sales over sales yan. Okay, and then we copy to the right. Okay, 100% being 2020 because you're dividing the sales of 2020 by 2020. And then 100% being 2019 kasi dinidivide natin yung sales ng 2019 by 2019. And then when we copy this down, okay, there, okay, everything is now expressed in terms of sales. So when I say expressed, ang ibig sabihin itong 92.86 na to, our total operating costs is 92% or 93% approximately of sales. And how do we interpret that? Well, we can say that for every 100 pesos of sales, the total operating cost turns out to be 92.86 centavos. So that's how we interpret that. Everything is expressed in terms of sales. Okay, so that's actually total operating cost divided by sales. Ito. So ang denominator natin yung sales. So we can say that for every 1 peso of sales, there is a corresponding 0.92 centavos or 0.93 approximately centavos of operating cost, total operating cost. Okay, so it's common practice also to follow the format. Let's put double line here, top and bottom. Okay, hindi naman siya thick border. Alright, oops. Ano ito? Turn double, and there. Okay, then follow the others. We have this already. Let's do this also. Top and bottom border. And then finally this one. Okay, so there you go. It's just like the income statement. However, it's expressed in, as the name suggests, common size. Common size because we express all the accounts in terms of one account. And that account is your sales. Okay, so how do we read this? Well, for 2021, for example, net income is 3.6%. So that means that for every 100 pesos of sales, then the company was earning 3.3 pesos and 60 centavos. Or for every 1 peso of sales, the company was earning 3.6 centavos. Okay, so if we're taking a look at it from a 1 peso perspective. Okay, so how is the performance of the company? You can look at the comparison between years. Huh? Okay, so we don't only do vertical analysis. We can also do horizontal analysis. So let me explain that. When you say horizontal analysis, on the other hand, you're looking at the growth rate. Okay, so by how much did the account grow between two periods? So here, 2019 to 2020, we'd like to see how much did sales grow from 2019 to 2020. So the formula is, since the 2020 is the current period, and then divided by the previous period, and then minus 1. Okay, that will now give us the growth rate. Control Enter. So here we can see that sales grew by, okay, that's the growth rate, 70%. Sales grew by 70%. And then we can copy this now. Okay, let's check the formula here. So it's the current C4. Between 2021 and 2020, it's 2021 that is the current value. 2020 is the previous value. So the current value, which is 2021, divided by the previous value, which is 2020, and then minus 1. So same formula as this one. Okay, so that's how easy it is to compute for the growth rate. That's a simple growth rate, and then we copy it down. All right, and same thing, we follow the formatting so that it will look like a financial, an income statement. Top and bottom, and then this one also top and bottom. There. Okay, let me pause for a while and ask the class if you have finished doing your horizontal and vertical analysis in the income statement. I'll wait for your response. Okay, give your classmates a few more seconds. Not everyone has responded, so let's wait for the other members of the class. Hopefully you were able to key in the correct formula for the vertical and the horizontal analysis for the income statement. Okay, all right, so thank you for your response. Those who are not responding, I hope you're able to follow along. Okay, so let's take a look first at, okay, before we go to the analysis of the vertical and the horizontal, let's do this time for the balance sheet. For the balance sheet, as far as the common size statement is concerned, everything is expressed, so that's cash divided by your total assets. Everything is expressed in terms of total assets, and then let's fix the row, C$24, or you can use the total liabilities and equity, because we know that in a balance sheet, they should equal each other. Okay, so Control Enter. So I'm getting 0.4%, which means that cash is only a 0.4% of the total assets of the company. Okay, so let's copy this to the right and then copy down. Okay, and then I'm going to put the formatting. Okay, this is last one. All right. So that is for the asset side. This time for the liability side, it's equal to, so we can use this, your total assets, or we can use the total liabilities and equity. So let's use this there, and then fix again F4. To the right, or down, and then down, then copy the borders. Okay, and then we can do the same for, oops, for this one, we haven't done this. It will also be equal to, between 2020 and 2019, it will be the value, okay, of 2020 divided by that of 2019 minus 1. Okay, there was a 19% drop in cash from 9,000 to 7,200. Okay, so let me just copy the formulas. Okay, let me just also copy this. Oops. Anyway, I'll just, okay, dali, may question dito si Migs. Format ko lang to ng konti, Migs, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so which formula do you want me to repeat, Migs? Which part here?
Sir, the accounts payable po.
Accounts payable. Accounts payable ng
The one below.
horizontal ba, vertical? Ito?
Beside that, sir.
Dito?
Yes, sir.
The vertical. Okay. So dito, no, you start with this one. Diba? It's your liabilities, or it's that specific account divided by the total liabilities. And then i-fix. Tapos i-copy to the right, and then copy down, or copy down and then copy to the right. Then format na lang. Okay, thank you for that question. Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Can I also see the horizontal?
Horizontal, okay.
The one in the right.
Let me start here. So horizontal class, no? Ang horizontal natin is simply the current year or the latest year divided by the previous year minus 1. Growth rate lang yan, no? And then just copy. Ganun din dito. In fact, I can just Control C and then Control V. So this will be, okay. between 2019 and 2020, yung 2020 yung figure yung current, previous yung 2019. So the current figure divided by the previous figure minus 1. And then we can now copy this. There. All right, and then it is suggested that you format your horizontal and vertical analysis as if they're also na parang ano din sila, no? FS. Yan. Okay, also for this one, meron na ditong, let me start with that. Okay. Okay, may I once again, class, ask if you were able to follow along. If you got the formulas, kindly chat. Thank you. Okay, waiting for your response, guys. Let me know if you have questions, if some formulas are not clear. Okay, good. Thank you so much for your response. Okay, so we have now this vertical and horizontal analysis. Vertical analysis is also known as common size statement. So what happens here is that depending on the financial statement, everything is expressed in terms of one figure. For the income statement, it's sales. For the balance sheet, it's total assets and total liabilities. So here we're able to do some interpretation. Okay, so for example, since the net income is 3.6 from the common size statement, we know that this 3.6 can be expressed in terms of 3.6 because it's in percent. We can do it 3.6 over 100. Okay, so that 3.6% is also equivalent to 3.6 over 100. Kinonvert lang natin percent natin. So how do we interpret that? We say that in 2021, the company, for every 100 pesos of sales, earned 3 pesos and 60 centavos. Yun ang ibig sabihin nito. Because it's linked or it's related to your sales. Okay? For 2020, for every 100 peso of sales, the company lost 1 peso and 63 centavos. So there was a net loss as far as 2020 is concerned compared to 2019, where for every 100 peso of sales, the company was earning 2 pesos and 56 centavos. There was a big jump. There was a big deterioration in terms of the net income over your sales. And that's attributable to here. Okay? Iba yung total operating cost natin noong 2019, it was just 93.91. Okay, which means that for every 100 pesos of sales, the cost of production, the cost of coming up with the finished product, okay, the cost is 93.91. Okay, going down the bottom line, you have 2 pesos and 56 centavos for every 100 pesos of sales. Now, for 2020, there was a huge drop. Okay, negative na tayo. Ibig sabihin, sa bawat benta natin for every 100 pesos that we're selling, we are losing 1 peso and 63 centavos. Okay? So negative here means loss yan, di ba? Net loss. Okay. And finally, for 2021, I have already mentioned this, for every 100 pesos of sales, then the company earned 3 pesos and 60 centavos. Okay, so that's how you interpret this. Now, in the horizontal analysis, you're looking at the growth rate. So there was a 70% increase in sales from 1919 to 2020. And then for 2020 to 2021, sales grew by 20.59%. Okay, and here are some other things here. Okay, so here, what can we see here? Although sales grew by 70% in 2020 from 2019, at the same time, cost of goods sold also increased by an amount even bigger than sales in terms of growth rates. And then other expenses also grew by 111%. Okay, if you look at this from 340 to 720. Other expenses for cost of goods sold from 2.8 million became 4.9 million. So more than double yung pag-increase ng cost of goods sold. Okay, that's why if you take a look at our total operating costs, this is 3.22 million, this is 5.2, this is 6.5. There was sales account, cost of goods sold accounted for 99.7% for 2020. 99.7% yung total operating costs. Okay, and then it grew in 2020 from 2019 it grew by 80.49%. While yung next year, yung between 2020 and 2021, it only grew by 12.31%. Okay, so the result of which is that you have here your operating profit relatively a lot smaller than the 2019 and 2021. 2020 seems to be quite a bad year for the company. Okay, so that pagdating ng and couple that with a bigger interest expense kasi humiram nga yung company, no? The company borrowed by a big amount, okay, relatively a big amount. So interest expense was even greater in 2020 compared to 2021. 176,000 yung interest expense dito. That's why our EBT was only 158,560 negative pa. No? Kasi mas malaki yung interest expense kaysa kay EBIT. Alright? So you have here the net income after tax. Ito na yung bottom line natin. Okay. So we took a look at it in terms of common size statement. Per 1 peso of sales or per 100 peso of sales, ano yung equivalent ng a specific amount, no? And then we can see here the progression, the year-on-year growth rate on this is your YOY. Year-on-year. Okay, we can see here that between 2020 and 2021, sales grew by 20.59%, no? From 5,834 to 7,035. All right, but and here you can see in 2020, although sales grew by 70%, you have here the total operating cost increasing by 80.49%. So that's one reason why 2020 was a bad year for the company. You know, net earnings before tax negative na siya. So nung net income niya, negative 95,136. Okay. Now, when we assess whether a company is, let's say, its performance is good, okay, its performance is okay, then we cannot just answer that just by looking at one number like this. Okay, for example, you can say here that the company is performing well because in 2020, sales increased by 70%, and then sales increased by 21%. Okay, we cannot say that it performed well. No? We can only say that sales increased by 70%. But as to assessing the quality of the performance of the company, we do not do it in isolation. Just because sales increased by 70% does not mean the company performed well. Okay? Because if we take a look at total operating costs increased by 80.49%. So mas malaki pa yung increase ng cost kaysa increase ng sales, di ba? 70% to, ito 80.49. Okay. So back to my question, if you're assessing the performance of the company, if it's good or not, okay, we usually benchmark it against two parameters. Okay, number one, we benchmark with direct competitors. Okay, and secondly, we benchmark with respect to time. What do I mean by benchmark with respect to direct competitors? It means we compare the performance of the company with the other players in the industry. In particular, it should be direct competitors. Hindi pa pwede si Jollibee, i-compare natin kay Burger Machine. No? Hindi pa pwede yun. Or Jollibee, compare it with a small, obscure, unknown company out there in say, Mindanao. No? Maliit lang sa area ng Mindanao, tapos i-compare natin si Jollibee doon. So, of course, it doesn't make sense. Pag direct competitor, yun talagang close rival niya. And a competitor is a company that offers the same services to its populace. So kaya kayo nagiging competitor kasi pareho kayo ng service na pinopromote. It might not be exactly the same product, okay? But competitors are are companies that address a particular need. Pareho silang ina-address na need. Okay. So we have to look at direct competitors, and secondly, we have to look at time. Okay. So what do we mean by time? Yung growth rate can be. So from 2019 to 2020, this company increased by 20%, 70%, I mean. However, in 2020 to 21, they only increased by 20.59%. Okay, so this is part of your analysis as far as time is concerned. Okay, benchmark against time. Has it been increasing over the past years? Okay, and then what does an increase in that account imply? Ano ba yung implication kung nag-i-increase yung account na yan or bumababa? Okay, so let me pause for a while. Okay, before I pause for a while, how about this? Sa asset side naman, everything in terms of total assets. Okay, sabi dito, ang current asset ng company, okay, this one, total current asset, that accounts for 76%. Okay, therefore, yung sa PPE na lang, around 23% na lang, so 24%. Okay, so we can ask ourselves, okay ba yan yung balance ng current assets at saka fixed assets? Okay. We have to know the industry, no? Kasi pwede nating sabihin na yung other players in the industry, yung number one leading player, yung inventory siya hindi ganun kataas, tapos yung investment na talaga sa fixed assets. Okay? So example lang yun, no? Example lang. So we have to analyze, we have to know what makes the company successful. So let me remind you again, class, that this is not read in isolation. Okay, kailangan to assess the performance of the company, we have to look at the figures in context, holistically, no? Okay, so let me pause once again. Kindly please kindly chat if clear sa atin tong common size statement or vertical analysis and horizontal analysis. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Okay. Let's compute for this. We have done this in the past. So I'm going to pause row by row. For example, here, please compute for the net operating working capital for 2021, 2020, and 2019. And then please write it here in the chat box. So what are these? NOWC for 2021, for 2020, and 2019. Kindly chat in the chat box. I'll give you a few seconds to work on that. A few more seconds, guys. Just for the first line lang. What NOWC are you getting? By now, you should be able to answer that very quickly. Waiting for your answers, guys. I'm not seeing any answer yet. Okay, meron na isa. I mean the actual answer, please. Yung actual figures. Ito, I'm not asking the formula for each. I'm asking for, okay, so yung formula dito, no? Which will give you the, I'm asking for the figures itself, not the formula, sorry. Diba sabi ko yung ano mismo, yung amount, no? Magkano yung NOWC for 2021, for 2020, and 2019. What's taking it too long, guys? Rafi, may question ka? Yes, Raf?
Sir, I was able to calculate it by doing total current assets minus total current liabilities. So
Can you copy your answers and then put it in the chat box so that we can see?
all right,
Okay,
sir.
also, RV also, please. Tatlong figures ang kailangan ko, 2019, 2020, and 2021. One 640, 1640, 642, 1640. Okay, let's see. 617. I think your answers are identical. They're the same. So let's see. You're correct. The formula is, but we discussed this already, the sum of your operating current assets minus the operating current liability. So let's sum. Ano ba yung operating current assets natin? Cash comma, excluding STI, and then AR inventories. So that's our net operating working capital. And then isa-subtract natin yung sa current liabilities, accounts payable, not including notes payable, but including accruals. Okay, so the sum of the select of these three minus the sum of your accounts payable and accruals. Okay, and we're looking for, what are we looking for? We're looking for net operating working capital. Okay, so just the difference between your operating current assets and operating current liabilities. So I'm getting tama ba? 1.8, hindi, sorry. 1.868, no? Okay, mukhang magkakaiba tayo ng answer. 1.640 sa inyo. Anong difference natin, class? Okay, let me flash again the formula. Okay, sum ng operating current assets, cash, AR, and inventories, minus sum ng current liabilities, your accounts payable and accruals. Okay, all right. Yeah, it's 1.868. Tama, no? 1.868, 680. Thank you, Vic, at saka thank you, Micaela. Okay, let me back read. Meron ba sa taas ng 1.868? Where did you get wrong, guys? Back 16. John, ikaw, why did you get 1640? Ano yung formula mo dyan? Sinama mo yung ano?
Sir, I used the total CA po.
Okay. Pero di ba, pag NOWC, remember, class, hindi kasama dito yung ano Hindi siya, iba yung net working capital as compared to net operating working capital. They're different, no? Okay, so, and then we copy to the right. Okay, there. So this is the formula that we use. Okay, next, how about TOC, class? Okay, it's to save on time, Sorry, to save on time, let's do this. Add, sabay-sabay na tayo. Add your NOWC with your net fixed assets, di ba? This one, 836. Oops. Yeah. All right. So I have now the total operating capital for 2021, for 2020, and 2019. And the net investment is simply the increase. Okay, the increase in your ito, wala to, no? Kasi wala namang 2018 na figure. Okay. All right, then NOPAT class. What's the shortcut for NOPAT? Can somebody give me the NOPAT value for 2021? Okay, so what will be NOPAT for 2021? Any answer for 2021? No answer yet, class? No PAT, net operating profit after tax. We have a formula for that. No answer yet? Wala pa, tagal ah. Simple lang yung no PAT, class. And we have a formula for that, no shortcut. None? Okay, what's taking everyone so long? Okay, di ba, ano ba yung formula ng ano? No PAT. It's equal to your EBIT, di ba? It's your earnings before interest and taxes. And then we take away the, multiply that by 1 minus, we take away the net of tax, which tax is 40% in this problem. Okay, so that's our net operating profit after tax. And then we can copy this to the right. All right, then you can see here that no PAT really decreased in 2020. From 209, naging 10 na lang siya. Pero nag-rebound naman in 2021. Okay, free cash flow, class. Okay, we're running out of time, so let's just quickly answer this. What's the free cash flow? Amount available for distribution to investors. So you take the no PAT, and then you subtract the net investment in operating capital. Okay. We don't put anything here because we don't have any net investment in TOC. Okay, so quick review, class. Does a negative free cash flow mean the company is performing poorly? Is that what a negative free cash flow implies? Na poor yung performance ng company? The answer is no. Okay, we already discussed this, but let me just remind you of the answer. You have to look at the two items that result to free cash flow, and that's the no PAT less the net investment in TOC. Okay, if the no PAT is very small to begin with, so 10,000 lang. Let's assume that based on the performance of the company, kasi nung 2019, 209 siya, no? So bumaba siya dito sa 2020. Let's assume that average performance ng, compared to the average performance ng firm, itong itong no PAT na to is relatively small. No? And then, ano pa, ima-minus pa natin yung net investment in TOC, which is more than 1 million. So ang free cash flow natin talaga magiging negative. And in this sense, that negative free cash flow, we can say that that's poor performance as far as the company is concerned. in relation to the NOPAT of the previous year. So that's benchmarking against time. And of course, if we have data about the NOPAT of their direct competitor, then we can also include that in the analysis. Okay. All right. So the negative free cash flow here, it could mean poor performance from the company due to the negative, due to the low NOPAT. And also this one, there was a big increase in terms of the total operating capital, improved by 1.12 million. Okay, sa 2021 nga, not even half a million. All right, so ROIC. Okay, how do we compute for the ROIC? It will be equal to, let's just compute this now. It will be equal to your NOPAT, okay? NOPAT divided by what, class? Divided by what? C? TOC lang, Micaela? Okay, no answer. TOC and what's this? Okay, beginning, all right? So that's correct, no? So dapat i-divide natin si NOPAT nung beginning TOC. Kasi ang reckoning ng operating profit from the start, di ba? From the start, say January 1, nagsimula na sila mag-operate, magkano yung capital binigay at the beginning of the year? Ito yon, 2257, no? So your ROIC is your NOPAT divided by the TOC at the beginning of the year, and we get here 13.36. We can copy this to the right. Okay, it's 0.92%. No? As yung sa 2021, malaki, 13 relative to 0.92. Okay, then we can, let's first compute for EVA kasi, by the way, did the company create value for the shareholders? Yes or no? Please chat kung ano yung answer nyo. Nag-create ba ng value si company para sa mga shareholders? Please chat yes or no. Let's see if you recall the interpretation of that. Waiting for your answers. Yes, if operations created value for the shareholders. No, if not. Okay, let's see. Answer is yes, yes, yes. Why yes? Let's see, sino unang sumagot? Okay, Rafi.
Sure, I answered yes because you can see that the ROIC from 2020 it gained or it improved to from 0.92 to 13.36 from 2020 to 2021.
Okay. All right. As regards that, tama naman yun. Nag-increase nga siya no? From 0.92 to 13.36. But that's not how we really answer that, di ba? Sherwin, ikaw, bakit nag-yes ka? But thank you, Rafi, for your answer. Dun sa aspect na nag-increase siya, sabihin natin na nag-increase lang yun, no? As to the question, if the company was able to create value, that can be answered by what? Sherwin?
Siguro do sa changes ng for me yung yung NOWC, which is siya ng 5 ilan difference ba to? Wait lang. I mean umakyat yung rating niya, sir, in
Which
terms
one?
of value.
Yung NOWC.
Opo, sir.
Okay. All right. Mas indirect pa yung answer na yun, Sherwin. Kasi why do we look at okay, sa bagay, your point is you're basing it on NOWC, ano? Tama?
Opo, sir.
Okay, sige. Let's read from another person. Sino? Si Vic, why yes?
Sir, same answer lang din po kasi
Same answer.
compared
Okay,
to
sige.
2020, which is 0.92% increase. compared
Okay,
to-
pareho kay kay Rafi. Kay Micaela, why yes?
Sir, sa 2021 po, the ROIC is higher than the WACC.
Yes. Okay, that's the answer. Thank you, Micaela. Okay, guys, don't forget, yung ROIC, we can only infer or we can only conclude that the company was able to create value. Nakalimutan nyo na, dapat i-compare yan sa WACC, di ba? Ang WACC natin 8%, ang return sa paggamit ng operating capital is 13.36. So okay. The ROIC was greater than WACC, 13 point something percent, greater than 8%. Therefore, value was created. Okay? But in 2020, value was destroyed because ROIC was 0.92 vis-a-vis the WACC of 8%. So there was a reversal, no? 2020, the firm destroyed value. Napaka-poor ng performance on 2020. Pero noong 2021 na, nakabawi na. So ROIC was higher than WACC, therefore, value was created. Okay, please don't forget that. No? Importante yung concept ng return on invested capital. And as we said, related to that is the concept of EVA. Diba? Si EVA, sabi natin, pag si ROIC is okay, if ROIC is greater than WACC, then this will register a positive figure. Ito naman dito, since yung ROIC natin lower than WACC, then this will be a negative. Okay, how do we compute for EVA? Di ba may kwento yan? Diba? So ang kwento niyan, okay, di ba dalawang methods pa sa pag-compute ng EVA. So let's use the first one. So nag-generate tayo ng NOPAT, okay? Pero yung NOPAT na yan, hindi free yung di ba? Hindi free yung pag-generate ng NOPAT, gumamit sila ng POC ng 2705. Okay, in fact, average. No? And hindi free yan. So imamanus natin yung paggamit ng capital. Ano yung capital na kino-consider natin? Beginning capital. So at the onset, binigyan tayo ng total operating capital na ganyan, tapos i-charge natin si company. Magkano i-charge natin sa kanya? Kasi sabi natin, di ba, hindi libre yan, no? Sino nag-provide niya ng operating capital? Yung mga investors. And that's not free. So how much will we charge management for the use of the operating capital? Paki-chat, please. How much? How much are we going to charge management with the use of the operating capital? And we reckon it from the beginning. Kalimutan nyo na, guys. How much? Remember, yung TOC na 2.257 million, okay, yung beginning capital, that's not free. Okay, so what do we charge management with the use of this capital? Times what? Kumbaga, sinabi natin to dati, di ba? Parang anong interest ang ipapataw natin sa management? Kasi hindi naman free yung capital na yan eh. Merong opportunity cost yan. Those investors could have brought the money elsewhere, right? So how much are we going to charge management for the use of that? Come on, guys. What's the rate of that we're going to impose on management? We just answered this last week, guys. Okay?
8% ba, sir?
Yeah, correct. 8%. Kasi di ba, ano ba yung 8% na to? Di ba ito yung WACC? This is the weighted average cost of capital. And we said this is very important because any project the company embarks on has to be assessed relative to WACC. Kung ano yung return ng project na yan, dapat mas mataas sa WACC yan. If the project's return is lower than WACC, then that project should be rejected. Okay, only projects that have rates of return that's higher than the WACC, weighted average cost of capital, will be deemed acceptable. Okay, so what's happening here? we are charging management for the use of the TOC. Kasi nga ang concept nito, guys, di ba, ang kwento nito, magkano bang capital ang binigay sa management? Okay, record natin from the beginning of the year. Oh, ito yon 2257. Okay, kasi at the beginning of the year, nagsisimula na silang sa operating activities nila, di ba? So magkano yung kinita nila? Operating profit, ito, 301, di ba? Pero ima-minus natin dito yung this one. Yung cost, yung i-charge natin sila sa paggamit ng capital. Okay. Let's see. And this one is, okay, and that amount is 18610. Okay, ito yung charge sa capital, no? 18610. Okay. By the way, guys, do you know how to do this? What I'm doing? You see, I'm able to print or show the answer of a particular part in the formula in Excel. Let me go back. Diba? Ito. Okay. Pag nag-enter ako, this is what I get. But, guys, sandali lang ah. Let me just answer the door. Hello, guys. Hello. Sorry, naghang ah. Hello. Hello. Hello, class. Can you still hear me?
Yes po, sir. We can
Okay.
hear you.
Sorry. Okay. Maghang kanina eh. Okay. Sana tayo. Alright. So, ano yung sinasabi natin dito? EVA, minus natin yung capital charge. No? Okay. So, as we can see here, sa EVA natin dito, negative na siya. No? Negative siya. So, value was destroyed. Okay. As compared to here, value was created. And then lastly, yung MVA natin is simply comparing your market value. So magkano yung share price natin ngayon multiplied by the number of shares. Actually, dapat kukunin natin yung average ng shares. No? Okay, and then we subtract the book value. Magkano ba yung book value natin yun? Total common equity. Dali yan. Total equity. This one. Okay. All right. Okay, questions, class? Questions, clear yan? Sandali lang guys. Sandali lang. All right, so where are we now? Any questions, guys, about this? Oh, good. Okay, so, all right. So after this, ito kaya nang gawin to, no? Statement of cash flows. Okay. Okay, so I just want to start with this, no? Yung introduction lang nito, and then we continue with our discussion on this on Friday. So as I said, we won't be meeting on. I'm very sorry about that on Tuesday, but we will still meet virtually. Pero I won't be discussing things with you. I will just require an output from your end, okay, which I'm going to post in Canvas, no? And you will have to do it within the time frame 2:30 to 4 on Tuesday. Okay, so dito, class, 5 yung different types of ratios natin. You have your liability, you have your liquidity, and then AM stands for asset management ratios. And then we have here debt ratio. And then we also have profitability ratios. Profitability ratios. And then you have your market value ratios, yung dulo, MV. Market value ratios. Okay, so 5 siya, no? 5 siya. Liquidity, asset management, debt ratio, profitability ratios, and market value ratios. There are other types of ratios, but we will just be focusing on these most basic ones. Okay, towards the end, okay, meron ditong tinatawag na DuPont computation. DuPont is a company, so they they originated this concept of breaking down the return on equity into these 3 elements: profit margin, TATO, and financial leverage multiplier. Because before, to assess the company's performance, tinitingnan talaga yung ROE, no? Yung return on equity. That's why, and the concept here is that if ROE is a good indicator of the company's performance, then we have to break down the composition of ROE. So andito si profit margin, andito si total asset turnover, andito si financial leverage multiplier. We'll discuss this towards the end of our when we finish this, and then after this we'll have the quiz. Okay, so start lang natin to, class, itong liquidity ratios. Liquidity ratios is a measure of what? It's a measure of the capability of the firm to pay off its current obligations as they fall due. Okay, so how capable is the firm in paying its current liabilities? Yun ang mini-measure ng current ratio. And you have the formula here. It's current assets divided by current liabilities. So let's just get this. Sum ng current assets. So we have here your current assets. This one, total CA, current assets. Hindi na pala kailangan isama, no? Kasi you have already the total here, divided by your current liabilities, which is this one. Okay, it's 2.58. All right, and the formula there is C22 is current assets, C30 is current liabilities. And we can copy this formula to the right. There. Okay. So remember, when we assess whether a company is doing well or not, we have to benchmark against a direct competitor and also benchmark against time. Let's take a look at this from a perspective of time first. You can see that the current ratio was at 2.33 noong 2019, pero it dropped down to 1.46 and then went up again to 2021 in 2.58 in 2021. Okay, so what does this indicate? Theoretically, it means that for every 1 peso of current liability, the company has 2 pesos and 58 centavos of current assets to pay its obligations as they fall due. Okay, si competitor natin 2.7 siya. So mas capable in terms of current ratio si competitor. Mas marami siyang pangbayad ng current liability niya. Okay? Now, this is to pay off its current liability. Iba kapag kapag capability to pay its long-term obligations, ang tawag nun solvency. So liquidity versus solvency. Pag solvency yung long-term, yung liquidity, yung short yung current liabilities lang, yung that will become due within the operating period within that year. Okay, ang solvency naman kasi it talks more, it considers also the long term, more of the long term. Okay, so yung 2.58 na yan, theoretically, ang sinasabi lang yan, di ba, for every 1 peso of current liability, meron tayong 2.58 na pesos para pambayad sa current liability. However, it should be taken with a grain of salt, no? Kasi, yes, Migs. Nag-raise pala si Migs. Yes.
Sir, how do you get current ratio again?
Current ratio is, this is the formula. Okay, this is your current assets, C22 divided by your current liabilities. Okay, siguro ilagay ko lang din dito ng get formula. Formula text pala. Kahit yung isang year lang. Yan, para kita natin, no? Okay. So as I was saying, guys, you have to interpret this with a grain of salt. Kasi you have to go deeper. How do we go deeper? Take a look at the attributes or qualities of your assets. Ito, yung current assets nito. You have to tie this up with other metrics or other ratios. What if inventories? Pwede kasi inventory matagal nilang gawin yung finished goods nila. Tapos yung AR nila matagal sila makakolekta. If that's the case, then baka sa tagal nila mag-collect kasi kunyari marami pang doubtful accounts. Okay, that leaves the company with just yung cash at saka short-term investments. Kasi ito definitely cash na yan, ano? You can use that to pay. Short-term investment naman that can easily be converted into cash. Pero if problematic yung AR at saka inventories ng company, then mahirap yun. Kasi ang liabilities nila, 1.039, diba? 1 million. Ito lang yung talagang sure tayo na magiging cash eh. If the AR is problematic and the inventories, then the company may have problems with paying off its current liabilities. So ang lesson dyan, guys, although we're just taking a look at current assets, titingnan din natin yung composition niya. No? Yung composition niya. Okay? And lastly, tapos sila natin itong liquidity kasi almost time na. No? Yung quick ratio natin, no? It will be equal to, si quick ratio, ito yung, okay, another name for this is ito yung acid test. No? Acid test ratio. That's the other name for that. So ano si acid test ratio? What we use is only cash. Okay, cash, marketable securities, and receivables. Yung tatlong yun lang, no? Divided by current liabilities. Okay. So assuming na since nabenta na yun, receivables, ano? Assume natin na magandang collection nila, nako-collect nila yung mga receivables sila on time, then our quick ratio will now be 0.93. So anong ibig sabihin yan? For every 1 peso of current liability, the company has 0.93 of quick assets. Yung mga quick assets natin yung cash, yung marketable securities, and then the receivables. Okay? So we can see here that in 2020, hindi maganda yung performance niya, no? And then, we pale in comparison with the direct competitor kasi 1:1 sila, no? Bawat isang current liability, meron silang piso na quick assets, no? Quick current assets. Okay? All right. So, mahaba-haba itong discussion ng AM, no? I will not go here now kasi time na. So next meeting, class, remember, we're not going to meet. I'm sorry guys for that, but I'm going to post in Canvas and it will be made available. Pag 2:30, pwede nyo na siyang buksan. So, if I may, you can, what do you prefer ba? Is it group work or individual work? Class. Hello? Are you still there? Okay, group work, but, sige, but, kasi may pasok naman kayo, di ba, noong Thursday. So, if you can, doon na lang kayo gumawa sa, sa classroom natin para, para, yung automatic yung grouping, no? Okay, sige, gawin natin group work, pero siguro a different problem per group. Okay, paano nga pala yung grouping? Ako na bahala sa grouping, I will do the grouping myself. And then I'll, parang walang kopyahan, no? Per group yung, yung magiging activity. Okay, so with that, let me stop recording now.